Good afternoon. How's everybody? Harley, you're going to be at my back if I stand halfway down. Normally I'd say come to the front. Now I'm saying, will you move to the back? I won't do that. I won't do that. How's everybody this afternoon? So just have a few quick updates and then also open it up for questions. Maybe more questions today than not. One is I want to circle back around to the Erlanger Behavioral Health Hospital. There may be some discussions in your areas and your departments around when will they be fully staffed and when will they actually have all the beds open. They currently are running about 35 patients. You may recall it's an 88-bed facility, our Erlanger Behavioral Health Hospital, and hopefully it will move from 88 to 120 in the upcoming 2 or 3 years. But they are staffing. One is recruiting the staff, specialized staff. Two is they knew it would be a slow ramp up so they could get the bugs out of a new facility. So currently running 35 census, and we've been led to believe that in the upcoming, I'm going to say 90 to 120 days, they will be able to have all 88 beds open. Now, that's anticipated, that's planned. Part of that, and this is key, as you know, being able to recruit the staff. I believe it could be as late as mid-summer of 2019, so about 7 or 8 months out. But they are pushing as fast as possible to open all 88 beds. And we do know that we have much need for our behavioral health patients in the placement of. We were hopeful they'd be able to open the 88 beds in a more accelerated manner, but just unable to do so. So I wanted to give you that update, so kind of anchor you where we were from a behavioral health perspective. The Cancer Center, the Comprehensive Cancer Center, and the new medical office building at Erlanger East, you have probably read. We've seen at least one patient, seen first patients, and somebody in the room may know how many patients have been actually treated at Erlanger East in the Cancer Center, up to and including the Breast Center and physician practices. So all of that is opening as of a day or two ago, up to and including this week and into next week. So we'll be able to bring that building online and the services and the programs that will be provided at Erlanger East Hospital in the new facility. So we're very excited about that. The other is the Children's Outpatient Center. As you know, there's quite a few open house ceremonies or events in the upcoming, I think it's December 1 to December the 15th. The first patient will be treated on December the 17th. So we're there. I know you continue to hear about it. It's very repetitive. But the ceremonies will be in and around the first 2 weeks of December, opening for our patients December the 17th. So a huge accomplishment overall from a facilities perspective. Isn't it just absolutely beautiful? How many have been able to tour the facility, have actually walked through? Both from, I'm sorry? Oh, that's what you're talking about. Great. So Harley is saying, quit stepping on me. You're intruding into my space. So that's great, Harley. Well, just know it. Well, she's going to give you a lot more detail. I think it's beautiful. It's stunning. It's not only aesthetically pleasing, but also very functional. So I'm glad we're able to couple those together. Sometimes you have good aesthetics and lacks functionality, and be able to, the right people like Harley and others get in a room and bring the two together and integrate, and is a much more functional and aesthetically pleasing building. So very excited about that. What questions do you have of me? Open enrollment, well, I'll just mention this as before, I'm sorry, I jumped out in front of that hand going up. Jody, are you doing open enrollment? So somebody's doing open enrollment, so great. Thank you, Jody. And I just want to say this about open enrollment, and I haven't done it. You must take action this year or you do not have any coverages January 1. Is that fair? That's the only thing I'll say about open enrollment. Jody will give you the rest. So I've already given Hardy's presentation. Now Jody's presentation. Let's see who else is in the room where I can do their presentation. I do apologize. I didn't see you back there, Jody. Thank you. Thank you very much. I was talking to a few individuals just walking over here, and I said, well, have you enrolled in benefits? And they said, well, no, I don't know that I'm really going to. I don't have any changes to make. And I said, no. You must go meet with a rep. So that message, we just need to be certain everybody understands. You have to take action this year. And that's not only on the Flex account. That's for overall in employee benefits. Yes, now, back to the questions.
I've been asked several times about you were talking about the new hospital. What's kind of the next phase?
Okay.
You guys thought about that? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, so the question is, what's the next phase? Outpatient Center raised $30.5 million, coupled with $11.5 from the organization. and we have a new children's outpatient center. So this is leading up to a children's hospital, and you know it's a multi-phase process. Somebody was asking me the other day, well, when are we going to have a children's hospital, truly a new children's hospital? Is that next year? It's not next year. You know, that's still 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever that may be. A lot of money has to be raised. Is it 200, 250 million, 300 million? So if you think about it, you got to go to the market and borrow money. You have to go back to the community and see who will give and how much fundraising. Can we raise another 50 million, 75 million, 100 million, whatever that number may be? We need to do an assessment of our community, because there's organizations that are experts that coming into a community, and they will give you information pertaining to how much you can go back to your community and fundraise. So we do have an organization that will be doing that for us. Additionally, so we're multi-years from actually having a true children's hospital, and part of it, you know, is it a standalone building? But the vision at this point, and some of you have probably been in presentations, been part of the discussions, you know, are we going to build a new patient tower? Let's say it's 10, 11, 12 stories tall, and you know, level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are children's hospital, and the other are for other, you know, additional services. And how do we connect it to our current services, such as the heart program is on level 4. So does it go over? We build a new tower in level 4 to level 4. It's all heart program, things of that nature. So when we speak to Children's Hospital, and again, maybe you all know this, we're not necessarily speaking to and talking about a separate building, a separate hospital that has 4 walls and is only the Children's Hospital. It may be in a larger tower and floors designated for children's care. Now, it still will be referred to as a Children's Hospital. We are not going to become, so please don't walk out of the room and say this, because this happens at a lot of hospitals. There's just a floor, or these are the 20 rooms that are for pediatrics. They're designated for pediatrics, and they claim that they're a pediatric hospital. This will, even if it occupies 3, 4, 5 floors, it will still be designated a children's hospital. It'll just be embedded in a larger facility. Not to dilute it, not to take away from the branding of Children's Hospital. We need to be very clear with our community if we go back and fundraise what that may look like. But the objective is really the entire 3rd Street corridor, you know, from this side of a campus, from what is that, west maybe to east. I don't know, I'm directionally challenged, but let's say from my right-hand side of the campus to the left-hand side of the campus, to really redo the entire campus as far as the opposite, the other side of 3rd Street, and to the best of our ability kind of revamp that. We're already discussing human resources. They have moved to Amnicola, and so we're already discussing, do we go ahead and bulldoze that building, demolish that building, build some additional parking spaces? I'm not here to talk about parking, but that may be a question. So can we, okay, no. You might have been the one that asked about it last time. But so we're already in discussions now. Will that happen this year or next year, because it's several $100,000, all the other things in life that you have to consider before you start construction. But I would say in the upcoming 3, 4, 5, 6 years is where you would see additional build out and a true children's hospital being in place. Now, discussions are taking place today. People are already, there's designing. You've seen probably pictures of it, some beautiful pictures of what may be. So it's not that work today is not taking place. It's a multi-year process. Is that, I don't know if that kind of positions it. And many of you probably were aware of that. What other questions do you have? Yes?
I was curious, now that children's outpatient centers completed or nearing completion, are there plans to work on the infrastructure in the current North Tower?
Yeah. So, and I'm just going to say, Joy was asking about the North Tower specific. I'm just going to say the current infrastructure. And the answer is yes. Now, with that, so, you have a certain amount of money, just like at home. You have a certain amount of money. You have more needs than you have money, and so how do you allocate those needs? And to be quite frank with you, we know there's a lot of needs. Let's say, I'm just going to talk downtown campus. You were saying North Tower. I'm just going to speak to downtown campus, not East and others right now. But downtown campus, we know there's a lot of needs. If hopefully you've recognized, we continue to invest in the downtown campus with flooring, updating, some of the departments and some of the units. We still have much to do, much work to do. Additionally, we've put some work into, you may say, electrical and plumbing and those types of systems. We still have work to do. I'm not going to say we do not. but we have been investing in kind of behind-the-wall systems. They're not anything that's really visible. Does it keep the infrastructure running? Does it help protect the infrastructure from being offline so it provides more safety and so forth? The answer is yes. But we know we need to continue to invest in downtown, and not only continue to invest, but we know people are asking for us to increase that investment downtown. Not only from employees, but I'll also share with you physicians. I hear from at least one physician weekly, at least one, and typically more than one, just about you need to have more investment downtown. So for example, Central Sterile. Who works in and around Central Sterile? Not necessarily in Central Sterile, but in the operating rooms where Central Sterile is it kind of cycles up and down and all around. And we've been discussing for some time now having a contract with STERIS. I think Central Sterile got better for a while, and it's my understanding, and there's somebody I'm looking at that works in OR. It's my understanding Central Sterile has, I don't know about tremendous challenges today, but it's kind of cycled back down, and we're not meeting the needs of the surgeons and the entire staff in the operating rooms. And so we're in negotiations with STERIS that would come in and assist. We would outsource Central Sterile or parts of it. Everybody is well apprised and aware of that. So what that may look like. So that's not only is it in the facility, but the programs and the functionality of our building we must invest in. Central Sterile just comes to mind because I've been in discussions this week about Central Sterile. It's quite a challenging moment for us with Central Sterile. We hope to be able to overcome it. I know the OR staff is saying, not only do you hope, you must overcome, I would imagine. So that's an example. Another is just patient throughput and the functionality of our building and how patients flow from front door to back door, front door to side door, to discharge. And the functionality of our building, we've got to continue to improve and work on. One example where we did invest in the infrastructure, and you may or may not agree that it's the most important, but the ICU waiting room. How many had gone into the old ICU waiting room? How many had actually gone in and seen the family members and those that were waiting, for those that had loved ones in an ICU? It was actually not acceptable. It absolutely was not acceptable from my perspective to have families in the old ICU waiting room. And we did it for years. We knew we needed to improve it. We didn't put capital into improving it. How many have walked through or looked in the door of the new ICU waiting room? I think it's beautiful. It's much more functional. It's going to serve our customers and show the respect that I think we should of those that have loved ones in our ICUs and other areas of the hospital. So that's one investment we're making, but we still have a lot to do. Flooring, walls. I walked through some of the hallways, and I guess it's 1980 colors, and it's like, seriously? You go to the floor up above, and it's the nice, it has the wood floor look and so forth. So we're making our way through it, but still a lot of work to do there. It's how we allocate our money, just like you at home, how you allocate your money. What other questions do you have? I will mention this real quick. You know that the healthcare industry is constantly struggling with reimbursement. Payers, governments, and everyone else is wanting to pay us less. They are scrutinizing their bills. They don't pay, and we have to sometimes get attorneys involved to try to get payment from payers. Not really the government as much, but sometimes even the government. And with that, I'm pleased to say, and there's going to be a press release, a joint press release, and we're very pleased we're able to do this with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We just signed, it's a 4 or 5 year deal with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So we're getting a raise today, and in the upcoming 3 or 4 years, there's built-in raises. So we're very pleased about that. It brings certainty to the equation, because when you're running on a year-to-year contract, we had a 5-year deal. It ended, and we were able to negotiate 4 or 5 additional years. So it brings certainty to our projections and what, because we can predict probably how much of the market Blue Cross Blue Shield will have, and what we're going to be paid based on these higher rates, these better rates for Erlanger. So we're very pleased with that. However, we are continuing to position ourselves, and this is in our vision statement, as the low-cost provider. So as we negotiate with Blue Cross Blue Shield, we want to maintain the position of being the low-cost provider in our community, We want to control how low cost that is. So is it 3% off the other pricing? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? We want to be able to manage and control that to the best of our ability. But we attempt in our negotiations to maintain our position as the low cost provider. So just know that. So pleased about the Blue Cross Blue Shield 4 or 5 year deal that we were just able to ink. And one of the things that I hope they'll leave this in, we actually have in our statement, joint statement from Blue Cross and Erlanger, that we are the low cost provider. And we think that will be meaningful to somebody reading it. If Blue Cross Blue Shield has in a joint release with Erlanger, that Erlanger is the low cost provider. Knock on wood, don't know if they'll leave that in, but we're attempting to have that come out in a statement. So very pleased about that. What other comments or questions do you have? Now there is, I'm sorry, is Patrick saying, do you have a question or you're saying it's my time?
You spoke to us a couple of months ago about the adoption of the D&B standard.
Yeah.
And you kind of touched on this. I know there's some overlap for when we change over from Joint Commission, but not
Mhm.
totally. Can you describe that transition a little bit better? Like, are we hanging on to Joint Commission
Yeah.
until X date or
Right.
certain department?
So D&V, everybody's, I think, aware that we're moving to D&V, moving from the Joint Commission. So Patrick was asking, can you explain the transition? When are we going to step away from Joint Commission, fully adopt D&V? I can share with you, we have sent a termination letter to the Joint Commission. So the Joint Commission is aware at this time that we are no longer be using them for our accreditation. Now, with that, there are some disease-specific certifications, like in stroke and AMI. We will maintain the Joint Commission disease-specific certifications up to and including, I do believe, when what we've paid through, so it may be a year, year and a half, 2 years out from today, when we'll actually be stepping away formally from the Joint Commission. So those you'll still have in place, some of those, maybe not all, but some of those. Will the Joint Commission allow us to renew them once our payment period is ending? We don't know at this point in time. There was some work being done attempting to identify that. D&V does have disease-specific certifications, maybe not as many as the Joint Commission, but already D&V has committed to work with us where we have a need to have a disease or want a disease-specific certification, believe that our level of service, our level of care warrants a disease-specific certification. D&V has committed to work with us, maybe not on everyone we would propose, but on some that we would propose. So we're pleased with that. So yes, we are moving from D&V, and D&V, as you know, it's just more engaging. You're surveyed once a year, not once every 3 years. It's not be surveyed, wait 3 years, take your, do your, I call it cramming for the test, 30 to 60 days. And we've all spoken about always be compliant with Joint Commission from one survey to the other, and I like to stand before you and say we always have. No hospital does it that way that I'm aware of. You may have, maybe we do to a certain extent, but I think we all kind of cram for the test, do a lot of work to 60 days before they come. D&V is different. It is, every year they engage with you differently, and hopefully it is a methodology for continuous quality and safety improvement. That's our attempt. It's not about money, trying to save money, Joint Commission to D&V. They're probably about the same cost. I can't remember. There's a few, maybe tens of thousands of dollars difference, but it's not millions of dollars of savings to move the D&V. But it is to have a continuous quality improvement program and have our accrediting body supporting that. Other comments? Other questions? There is one question, I don't know if I should bring this up, that I'm surprised you're not asking. I'm sorry, what? Parking? Not parking. I know that's on all your mind, but you're saying Greg's not qualified to talk about parking, so I'm not going to. Well, let me just ask this real quickly, and Patrick's, he's getting antsy. It's time for me to say goodbye. But parking, is the transitions and changes are always difficult. How has the transition gone? I've heard from some not so well, and I've heard from some I'm fine. Just collectively, as a group of SEALs, how is the parking transition? How is it going? What are we, 2 weeks into it now, give or take? 2 or 3 weeks? So, okay. So, no changes. Well, that's interesting. That's news to me. I thought there were supposed to be changes. So, no. Okay.
We still have complaints. I'm on check-in, so
Okay.
we still have complaints. People 30, 45
Yeah.
we're waiting because Valley's closed or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's not changed any
Yeah.
throughout the whole 5 years, 6 years that I've been here.
Okay.
So that's no different. But as far as employee-wise, still working the same place, still.
All right, so parking, so nothing has changed?
Nothing's changed.
Okay. So now if something changes in a week from now, you can go, we shouldn't have told Greg that. He went back and he made changes. I'm not. Actually, Mickey Melita, that's over parking, he's coming to the C-suite meeting on Monday morning just to give us an update on parking, any transition issues, and it doesn't sound like there's much change during the transition, and where we may need to go from a parking perspective, and not having enough parking places, and maybe kind of crowding out some of the customers, things of that nature. The one question that I was thinking of, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up, is raises. Are we getting raises? Nobody asked that question, and so maybe you have no question about it. So,
Are we getting raises?
are we getting raises? Thank you.
You're welcome.
The cycle for employees is in January, and the board did approve in the budget, that was approved in June for the upcoming 12 months starting July 1, raises for employees. And so at this time, I would anticipate employees are getting raises. Don't walk out of the room and say, Greg didn't commit to it, promise it. I have no reason to believe that we will not be giving raises in January to employees. I mean, if somehow financially we fall apart between now and December 31st and we're going broke, obviously those kind of things have to be taken into consideration. I don't anticipate that happening. So, to my knowledge, we should be on track to give raises in January. I don't recall if that's the first full pay period, the exact effective date, but it's in that January time frame. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to recall from memory, but it's in and around the 2% that was budgeted. Again, each 1% raise to employees costs, I think it's $3.5 million. It's between $3 and $3.5 million on a 12-month basis. So just that's it may be about 3.2. So just I remember the day when it was only $2 million, and that was the math. Now it's 3.2. It could touch 3.5, but it's in that 3.2, 3.3 range. So at this time, I'm not aware that you will not be receiving a raise in January. And nursing, has their protocol, their competency-based system, so it would be applied as we move forward. And so the nurses in the room, you're used to receiving raises via the competency-based program, and that's how it would play out this January. There's not any other questions. I certainly appreciate it. Harley, Patrick, everybody else is saying, please get off the stage. I want to say happy holidays to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. It's meaningful to work at Erlanger, and I hope you feel that way. We can passionately care for people, and not only do we passionately care for people, that's ourselves, that's our neighbors, that's our patients and loved ones. But I just want to say we can passionately care for each other in the Erlanger family. I feel that way when I come to work. I do. I don't have a good day every day, but I feel that people care about me at Erlanger Health System, and I hope you all sense and believe the same thing, because that makes us stronger as a workforce, as individuals caring for others. So thank you for being a SEAL. I hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.
So Greg did kind of steal my thunder a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm here to talk to you today. I know on the agenda it says strategic planning update. I'm actually just going to be talking to you about the new Children's Outpatient Center, telling you a little bit of updates, where we are. So I'm here on Bruce Comiskey's behalf. He is sick today and was not able to come. So just so you know, the project is on schedule and on budget. So the state is actually here inspecting as I'm speaking to you. So they're here today, tomorrow, and Friday. And then hopefully, cross your fingers, we get the certificate of occupancy after that. So it'll probably be a temporary certificate until the final inspection happens a little bit later down the road. But if all goes well, that's where we'll be. So as Greg said, we are going to be open with our first patient on December the 17th. So we'll be closing December the 13th. We'll be closed the 14th, and then we'll move all over the weekend, and then we'll open Monday around noon time. So again, keep us in your thoughts and prayers. It's going to be a exciting, stressful, challenging, fun weekend. So the parking lot is being paved. Speaking of parking, the parking lot is being paved this weekend, starting this weekend or Monday. So there might actually be some really good things about parking, which is not normally a sentence you hear. We are going to have 65 self-park spots, and the rest will be about 100 valet spots. So right now in pediatrics, we see that same problem. Patients are 30 to 45 minutes late to their appointment because they can't find a parking spot, and that's crazy. So hopefully this new parking plan that we've got at the new outpatient center will help fix some of those problems and hopefully free up some space in the garage for the rest of our patients at Erlanger. So hopefully everyone sees a little bit of relief in December once the new building is open. So some finishing touches that are happening to the building. I was actually over there this morning and I saw some furniture getting delivered, which is exciting. And then the art begins to arrive on Sunday. So we have the Arts at Erlanger committee that spent a lot of time commissioning photos from local Chattanooga photographers and from the Watercolor Society. Sorry, I don't know the exact number of art pieces in the building, but there's over 100 different pieces of art that will be delivered on Sunday. So it'll finally come to life. I know for those of you that have been on a tour, you've seen the hallways are pretty bare. They're white, most of them, and that's just not the most attractive, but now there'll be art on them. And finally, so we do have some grand opening events that we want all of you to come to. So the main one is our community open house on December the 9th. So that's a Sunday. And it will be from 12 to 3, and it is a family-friendly, open to the public event. We'll have food and drinks. We'll have musical entertainment. Santa might even be there for the kids in your life. So please come, take a tour, mingle. It'll be decorated for Christmas. We've worked with the Erlanger interior designers to get cool Christmas trees and lights and decorations. So we'll really be in the holiday spirit. And then the other event is December 11th. It is a Tuesday, so it's in the middle of work. So don't feel like you have to come to that, but that is our ribbon cutting and dedication with all of our government officials in Chattanooga. So you're obviously welcome to come to that as well. But again, I know it's Tuesday at like 11 a.m., so that probably won't work. And like I said, move-in weekend is the 13th through the 16th, with our doors open on the 17th. So I know a lot of you said you have been on a tour. For those of you that haven't been on a tour, I'm sorry that hasn't worked out so far. But we are almost open, and then you can come see it finally done. We're really excited about it. So what questions, if any, do you have? Yes, Sandra.
Question, on Palmetto there, not that I want to add other traffic lights to our area,
Mhm.
is there a thought of putting a light there? Because I'm assuming that parking lot's going to empty onto it, and that is already a forest through there.
Yeah, so that has come up in some meetings talking about putting a traffic light. That obviously has to involve the city and involves a lot of different people. It did not get put in the budget for this project. We are working on different types of signage. So unfortunately, turning left onto 3rd from Palmetto is already hard as it is. And I don't really know how this is going to make it worse or better. I guess just there'll be more traffic that way. I think one thing we're really concerned about is, that hill on 3rd, right by the school, people go very fast. They slow down a little bit, and then right as they come to the top of the hill, they go really fast. So that does make us nervous. So we are working on different types of road signage there to help people slow down.
Like a speed limit, this is your current speed, just not put in there.
Yeah, so that is supposed to help. To be honest with you, it's just not ideal. So, as we move forward and we get, after the building's open, if we see it becoming a very persistent problem, I can imagine we will revisit that. But at current state, we are not adding a traffic light, but there is hopefully going to be ample signage. We are also concerned a little bit about the emergency room and making sure that people don't see this brand new shiny building. And to no one person's fault, this has been communicated to the community as the new children's hospital. While it is phase 1 of the children's hospital, this is not the children's hospital. And so we know that, but a lot of the community doesn't know that. And we are aware that they think that. So working on how we make sure that patients who need to go to the emergency room actually go to the emergency room and they don't end up at the new outpatient center. You just think someone who's not down here all the time, who's not really invested in this project, they think, oh, it's a brand new shiny children's hospital. My child's having an emergency, that's where I'm going to go. So working on with our wayfinding company and our signage company to get appropriate signage. So we are also talking about maybe redoing the current overhead signage as you are on 3rd Street if you're familiar with what that says, it's got a sign that says emergency. Anyway, so revamping that a little bit to make it very obvious that when you're on 3rd Street coming from downtown, you need to go ahead and get in the left lane for emergency. And then having a lot of signage at the door of the new outpatient center, at the entrance to the parking lot of the new outpatient center, no emergency services here. So it won't catch everyone. Some people will still show up there, and we know that, but trying to get the majority of people to the right spot. What other questions? Any? No? Okay. Well, if you have any questions, my name is on the agenda. Feel free to shoot me an email. But we really hope everyone can make it on December 9th to the community open house. And if you can't make it, the building will be ours after that. So you're welcome to come take a tour. I know the people in Children's are very excited. If you're familiar at all with the current space, it is much overdue. And we think it'll be really great for the community and for Erlanger. So tell all your friends and family if they want to come see it, they're welcome to. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Harley. So up next, we have Director of Benefits, Jody Nix, to talk to us about open enrollment. Do you want to freestyle, or do you want to hang on?
I'll use this one, if that's okay with you. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. How are you all? I'm not buying it. How are you all? Good. So as Patrick said, I'm Jody Nix. I'm the Director of Benefits. And as you hopefully know, we are right in the middle of open enrollment. We are 3 days in. So I basically just come to kind of talk about, not really present, because we present enough PowerPoints to totally snooze you. So I don't want to do that. I want this to be a little bit more interactive. So we do have all of our information out here. And it's so funny, we've actually asked marketing, can you please bring open enrollment back to the top? So, but this is just the general information that was sent out actually on, it was sent out on Friday, and it went to EHS_06, and it should have gone to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we had to resend that Monday morning. But open enrollment does run through November 30th. We are doing the counselor sessions this year. And my favorite question this week is, do I have to meet with a counselor? And, it always begs the question to go, how has that been communicated? And yes, we do need you to go meet with a counselor, any employee. There's lots of changes this year. There are several changes within our health plan, and then there's new critical illness, whole life, accident, and hospital indemnity are all moving to Unum. We have a new Unum FMLA process January 1st. So there's a lot of things, if the individual does not go meet with a counselor, they potentially may get lost in the process. And so we're asking for that to occur. So this is just leading into the change. The organization has not been with Unum for our life insurance, short-term and long-term disability, or what they call voluntary products for some time. We were with Unum, it's my understanding, about 3 to 5 years ago. Left and went with US Able for life, and went with Principal for disability services. And now, effective September 1st, we have gone to Unum for the basic term life, which is 1 times your base annual salary that Erlanger provides to every full and part-time employee. We went with Unum for our voluntary life, and this was all 9/1, not 1/1. This was September 1. And then we also went with Unum for our short-term and long-term disability. Then effective January 1st is when the new voluntary benefits for whole life and critical illness and our new FMLA process, which is 100% telephonic, over the phone. It's a paperless process. So my intent here today is just for you to potentially be an advocate for any questions or myths that are out there. There are people that are sneaking into the system and making edits themselves. I will not lie to you. That is something that can be done. It is highly discouraged because there is a wealth of information. I've talked to 2 C-suite members this morning that went to a counselor and they were like, I learned so much. So really the employee is cheating themselves. And I have to be candid with you, the way Erlanger is structured, we simply cannot. We have Kayla Crook, who is one of our benefits analysts that focuses on tuition reimbursement, leave administration, and our Grassroots Thrive wellness campaign that we're still getting up and going. But we have 3 other staff members, and we're just not positioned to talk to 5,000 people individually with a sundry of questions. So it really, the employees do need to go and meet with the counselor. Did everyone receive their newsletter at home? Okay, their newsletter, it looks like this, somewhat like this screen. And I think in all of this has hyperlinks. But for an individual to actually go and schedule an appointment because they are here through the 30th, if I'm here at Bareness, I can simply go into this app and elect my 30-minute counseling session. And then this is going to show all the different availability. So it's very easy to, I can check the 16th. There's 9 appointments. There's my appointment. I want to go at 7:30 at night. I hit continue, put in my information. I need Jeopardy music while I'm doing this. And so the gist of showing you this is just to show you simply how easy the navigation is. And I think Amanda is here in the back, and she even mentioned she used her iPhone and scanned the QR code on the newsletter, and the newsletter also is on here, and it takes you right to the app. And so there I've got my time at Bareness, the on-site appointment, and when I hit schedule it, it actually has the all the information here, and I can add to my calendar if I want to do that. If I don't want to do that, I don't have to, and then I can return to the site. So it's a very very nice process, and I think the employees, the feedback that I'm getting is the individuals are very happy that they're having an option to sit with a counselor for 30 minutes. As usual, we have everything that you will need out on our benefits website, esod.org, which the hyperlinks here, it's in the newsletter, it's on the intranet, and this will actually pull up our 2019 guide. This guide, actually, when I first came here 2 years ago, this is my 3rd open enrollment. We moved to Aetna. The decision had already been made when I came on board here at Erlanger, and we mailed the books, and it was $85,000 to print the 41-page book. Thankfully, Aetna paid for that because they had an implementation budget. And so the next year, as I'd done with my previous hospital I was employed with, East Tennessee Children's Hospital in Knoxville, I'd been there for 5 years, and we had moved everything online and never got one complaint. It's just a money saver. As soon as you print those booklets, they're out of date. So this is much more, if we find an error in here, and it's been QA'd at least 10 times, if we find an error, we can make the edit and repost, and nobody ever knows that there was an error. So anything you're going to want to know is in here. The rates are in here. So any questions that you guys have about the enrollment process, why did we do a one-on-one enrollment, anything that you have is free game. Yes?
Like, I know for some of us it's pretty easy to break free, but from like 4 nurses, which make up
Mhm.
4 staff, make up a huge part of our staffing. Have you heard any complaints or problems with them being able to work that in, or is the expectation not for them to do it during a shift to do overtime? How's that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, I don't know if are we being recorded? Do I have to repeat the question? I have to repeat the question. The question was, especially for clinical staff that are bedside, is it hard for them to break away, and is that the expectation that they should? I do not want to put that expectation on them. I don't want them to have to come and do their enrollment on their day off or time. But for some people, that may be what they have to do. But what we have done, I know surgery, I think there's some representatives in here for surgery. We have actually sent a scheduler there. I think they're there for the bulk of the enrollment. They are in the scheduling department. If there is a unit, for instance, Riverside, there's like 300 employees out at Riverside between financial services and Epic and then the former Atos. And so we had, at last minute, we have a counselor going there for the rest of the enrollment. So if you know as a SEAL, if you know of a situation where there's a large department, clinical department, or if you don't want to do it and you want your manager, have them email me and we'll have a counselor redesignated to that department.
Where did we find the counselors, by the way? Are they a third-party vendor? Or?
They are a third-party vendor. So the DP McCauley room, and on the invite, I didn't show you that place, but it gives you instructions on where to find. For instance, Children's is in Kelly Duraney's office. That was one of the most easiest places for them to accommodate, and people are like, where's Kelly Duraney's office? So that is actually placed on the invite, and it's by the children's mailroom, but it gives step-by-step instructions how to get there. The DP McCauley is on them. Everybody knows where our cafe is, where, Chick-fil-A and all that. When you exit out back there, when you're heading out, DP McCauley's just turn right, and it's the first conference room on your left past the double doors. So that's where the bulk. There is counselors in the cafe. There's signage all around the cafe. They're sitting around enrolling people. So per my email that I sent on Monday, cafes are a common area. And then if you're on the East Campus or you're on the main campus or Children's, use Time Trade, the app that I just went into to actually select your appointment, and it'll tell you where to go. Yes.
I'm sure a counselor could probably go over some of this with me, but my family has gone back and forth about insurance here. I've been on the insurance for 6 years since I've been here. I have a blended family, and I would have liked to put them on my plan, but now we're going to be forced to for unforeseen circumstances. The problem is that we're responsible for my stepchildren's insurance, who live in McVinville. And based the way Erlanger has this plan set up, is you have to use Erlanger physicians. What accommodations are for those of us who have families on the plan that live outside of these limits?
Okay, so there's some what you just said is true and some is completely false. So on our plan, the question was, there's individuals that reside outside of the Chattanooga area. Yes, our plan is structured for individuals to come to Erlanger and as a Tier 1 benefit, does have a lesser copay to use one of our physicians. And let me tell you why we do that. Aetna is not the insurance provider. Erlanger is the insurance carrier. Who knew that? Okay. Aetna is simply, we use them for their network, we use them for their discounts and their ability to pay claims, period. So we do weekly claim wires to Navitas for our physicians and to Aetna. The claim wire this week was $1.5 million for 1 week of claims. That was medical claims and pharmacy claims. So in a month, we can spend, last year we spent $43 million. That's not counting what employees contribute, what comes out of their paycheck. That's already been extrapolated out. It's right at $43 million of hard cash. So if we do not steer you to Erlanger where we can care for you, and you are going to Memorial, or you're going to Tennova Cleveland, or you're going somewhere like that, we're sending a check to Tennova Cleveland and Memorial for things that we can do. So any hospital really does, when you work for a hospital, they're going to steer you back to their facility. As far as your dependents that are not close to an Erlanger facility, as far as an ER benefit, no matter if you're here or if you're in Alaska, it's the same ER benefit. It's a $250 copay. So that's off the table. Urgent care, walk-in clinics, those are a copay for tier 2 of $50. And that's an urgent care clinic. For here at Erlanger, it's 10, but there's going to be some upcoming urgent cares in the next year, but there's a walk-in at North that individuals can use. But when you look at that benchmark, a $50 copay for an urgent care is quite impressive, and you can even Google yourself. So that's a benefit that's open to them for $50. My family, we just used AFC. Our 2 boys, we thought they had strep, and we paid $40 each. So that's the same whether you're here or you're in the area that they're at. Physician copays, primary care physician is $35. A specialist is $60. That's for tier 2. Most hospitals, including Memorial, their tier 2 benefit, meaning non-Memorial, there's not a copay. You pay deductible and coinsurance. So you have to meet your deductible when you go to your primary care visit. So a $35 and $60 copay is a very competitive copay, which would be applicable to your stepchildren. And then additionally, your preventative care is always 100%. So if they go to an Aetna provider, their physical and a yearly wellness visit for a female is going to be covered 100%. So those types of things, really, when you get down to brass tacks and there's individuals out of area, the emergency care is the same as if you were here at Erlanger. The copays are a little bit more, but they're very competitive copays for office visits. And that's really kind of the gist of what individuals use on our plan. Yes?
That cleared up some of it. And then, is there a place, when I try to go on Aetna's website, because there's a hyperlink somewhere, I'm sorry, I don't know where else I can just-
You're fine.
There's a hyperlink to say to go to Aetna approved providers.
Mhm.
I looked that up.
Mhm.
But then it wants you to pick it by insurance.
No, by plan.
By plan.
And that's right here at the top. It's called Aetna Select Open Access. That's the plan. Under the drop down, that's the plan you're going to select.
Okay,
Hmm.
good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No other questions? Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate you being an advocate and steering people in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Jody. Up next, we have Michelle Powell, who's coming back to speak with us about the mentor program there at the Institute. Oh, and let me pull up the image here for you.
Sorry about that. I hijacked your meeting for questions about insurance. Did anybody see this on the internet today yet? No? Okay. So we've met before, talked to you about job shadowing and about the Institute in general a few months ago. And again, I just want to reiterate what the Erlanger Institute of Healthcare and Innovation is, and that is our partnership with Howard High School and the Future Ready Institutes of Hamilton County. And it's going really well. We're 12 weeks in, and we're ready to kind of start gearing up for our mentor program that we are going to provide for the Institute students. So I'm here today to kind of talk to you about that and kind of talk to you about why mentoring is important. I'm just going to throw a couple of stats at you to just kind of show you what the difference mentoring makes in young children's lives. For one thing, United Way posts these statistics, which we are partnered with, who has helped us kind of create this program. And so they've given me the stats that says 46% less likely than their peers to use illegal drugs, and 52% less likely to skip school, and 55% more likely to enroll in college. So those are some pretty big percentages for a difference that mentoring makes in young people's lives. One of the things that we're asking Erlanger employs clinical professionals of any area to do is to help us with this program. We can build it, but we need mentors. So I need male or female, and I need some male mentors for our male students. It really helps when students can kind of see themselves where they're going and kind of relate. And some of the male students, it's getting better, but they've had some trouble kind of relating because they see a lot of women in our guest speaker population. And when they come on tours here, they were like, oh, look, there's men everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, they just aren't always the ones that are coming to speak. So it would be great if you know of anyone in your department or other departments that would be willing to mentor these students. To begin with, this is kind of like a trial period. This will be for January through May. This is the next semester of school. And because it's new, we want to start small. It would be all freshman students, and there are 37. Our goal is to get 20 mentors, and it would be a 2-to-1 ratio. And all we're asking right now is one 30-minute segment for lunch with your student a month. 30 minutes of your routine, of your schedule, which we're all busy, and I know, but 30 minutes a month is all I need right now. So there are information sessions coming up on December 5th or the 6th at 1 o'clock. They'll last about 45 minutes, and it'll be in the POB conference room. And it's just no registrations required. Just kind of put it on your calendar and come. I have sent out some emails to the management forum and clinical education department and people that have just stopped me in the hallway and said, hey, I want to be a part of this program. So if you cannot make one of these sessions and you still want to participate, that's absolutely doable. I just need you to email me or have anyone that talks to you about it. I even put my personal cell phone number on this flyer. That's how bad I want to talk to people about this program. So feel free to call me. Everything we will do, all communication will be very user-friendly. We'll do it on a website that will be updated. If inclement weather becomes a problem and schools closed, you'll get a little ding in your email, and it'll say there's a message on your mentor website, and it'll say school's closed, don't worry about coming today. There'll be icebreakers provided every time you come, so you'll have something to kind of start the conversation. Talking with 14-year-olds can be challenging. If you have high school students of your own, then you'll kind of know sometimes their mood changes with the wind sometimes. So it can be kind of challenging to kind of start conversation with them. And so United Way is helping in that way also, and it's giving us information that we can use as little team challenges and little icebreakers that kind of gets it flowing, and it makes it less uncomfortable. I think a lot of people are probably thinking, well, what do I talk about? I'll give you something that'll start, and then after that it should flow naturally. So again, please tell everyone. You'll probably get sick of seeing this all over the internet and Jed's emails at the time clock. And I'll probably email, if you've showed even the slightest bit of interest, I'll email you several times to the point you'll say, okay, I need her to leave me alone about this now. So does anybody have any questions about the mentor program? Is anybody interested in the mentor program? Woohoo! All right, and I have some flyers that I could give people to post in their departments if you would be willing to do so in your break rooms maybe. Is anyone willing to take one of these with you? Awesome. Okay, I'll pass these around. Thank you.